thanks for the support as a channel member, Jack Sorbers. Remember yesterday when I was happy that Philippe Leonard had a little injury, was going to miss a couple of weeks and I could try some other options up front? Well, he got back at me by breaking his leg. Hello, welcome to Club 7, Part 4 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two pretty big games. We're at home against Chelsea in the Premier League and also home against Inter in the Champions League group stages. Now, obviously, Champions League group stage, we're already qualified. We've already won our group, in fact, but any opportunity to face Inter is a good opportunity to give us a yardstick of where we are with the Manchester United project, which is why I'm showing you that game, as we know Inter traditionally, for the last several years, have been one of Europe's top teams. They've won Serie A 5 years in a row, but not only that, they've had some very good Champions League seasons recently. I'm trying to remember how I see that on here. There it is. I've not used this screen for a long time. So last few years, I mean, we've had lots of previous with them. So we knocked them out when I was at Tottenham 5 years ago. In the first knockout rounds, but then they lost in the final to Bayern twice, once against me, once against the Bayern after me, and then we faced them as Barcelona last year, and they pushed us pretty close in the semi-final of the Champions League. So, we have lots of previous with Inter. We want to see how we're getting on against them. And Premier League-wise, we're not currently top of the league, despite the fact we're in some lovely, lovely form, but we have finally lost a game at Manchester United. It was away against West Ham, but this is a West Ham team who are top of the Premier League. As we approach, I mean, we're more than a third of the way through the season. West Ham, I don't really know where they've come from or how, because they've been typical West Ham, sort of bottom half of the Premier League. They've not finished in the top half of the Premier League since, what's that, 2020. So it's been 14 years since West Ham have finished in the top half of the Premier League, and all of a sudden they find themselves top. There doesn't seem to be a tycoon takeover in there. Manager-wise, Slaven Bilic, I guess it's the return of Slaven Bilic. He was the answer to, I mean, is this a third spell? He's managed West Ham in real life, hasn't he? Or did I dream that? Oh, it doesn't go back beyond the start of the game. I thought we got proper histories on here. But there he is there, getting sacked after 89 days. How on earth do you get sacked after 89 days? So they sacked him after 89 days in 2026, but then inexplicably brought him back again. And even more inexplicably, he's now got them to the top of the Premier League. And nobody understands how. They signed Ryan Sessegnon, clearly the key to success. I don't know. I have no idea, but they're top of the league. We need to sort that out, and a good way to sort that out is by beating Chelsea. And this is the team we're going to put out there to do that. You'll notice Philippe Leonard, absent, mentioned in the intro, broken leg. There is confirmation that his leg is good and broken. He's got an official case of red leg, which he did playing for France. He pulled his hamstring. That's where we celebrated. He had 2 weeks out, missed one game, went on international duty, snapped his leg in two like a twig. So, yeah, we're in the middle of life without Leonard at the moment, which isn't going disastrously, because it turns out Sergio Sanchez is actually quite good at football. Who'd have thought that the player who was Man United's top scorer last year, averaging a 7.54 and has 99 caps for Spain and 71 goals for Spain, who'd have thought this guy was quite good at being a footballer? Well, he is, so lucky for us. Keith Crown also fit, which is a rare treat. So we're going with Altrichter in goal, a back four of Kidd, Carpentier, Haman and Merber, Ungabezi at the base of the midfield, Ala and Baumgartner ahead of him, Sweeney and Crown supporting Sanchez up front. I'm playing this guy because we're playing Inter in a couple of days. I guess you could argue we should do it the other way around because we've already qualified for the knockout rounds in the Champions League, so this is the bigger game of the two. My counter argument to that would be Chelsea aren't that good. I don't think this is the Chelsea we would expect from real life. This should be a run-of-the-mill Premier League game. This is where it turns out they're the team in second. I'm pretty confident they're not. There you go, down in fifth. They're not disastrous, but they're not like top tier, I don't think. And Ungabazy needs to get game time. And plus, Vermonti loves playing against Inter because he's a Milan boy. And because of that, he always likes to get one over on Inter, so I'd rather play him in that one. My logic might be a little bit twisted, but it comes from a good place, a place of love for Matteo Vermonti, and we're not winning yet. But here we have a lovely long throw from Sweeney. There's Sanchez, and he heads it over. And I mean, you've seen me try this in the Streamer Showdown. You've seen me try it with Bourne. The one place it hasn't been effective at all is Manchester United. I'm probably going to turn the long throw thing off with Man United because it's just not working. We just don't. It doesn't seem to. I don't know. It's not a thing that seems to make a difference in the Premier League, or at least with this team in the Premier League. I don't know if it's perhaps how players think they're above it. We're Manchester United. We don't need to be doing long throws into the penalty area. Well, we've not scored any other way yet, have we? Let's demand more. Here's me talking about not needing Philippe Leonard, and there's us not playing very well at all. Right, we're going to bring. I'm told it's actually pronounced Umo because he's French. So again, someone who you would expect to actually be quite good based on the career that he's had. 81 caps for France. Been at Man United a long time, primarily as a winger. He's like a French opposite side of the pitch future version of Marcus Rashford, who keeps trying to convince us he's a striker. We all know really he's better off out wide, but needs must, he's got to play up front. Baumgartner's going to come off for Abbottbull as well, and hopefully we can find a breakthrough. We've already demanded more. I'm going to throw 10 minutes of passion at them as soon as they can cope with it. And we're just not even getting a highlight. We had that one highlight, which was a long throw. Is that really the best we can do? This is because I said this was a run-of-the-mill Premier League game. I'm being punished again. It's proof the game is actually listening to everything I say about it. Paolo's going to come on, who has been one of our better players this year after being very close to the chop in the summer and me saying I didn't know how I'd use him. It's very, very handy having a player who can play anywhere in the front four to come on when needed. Chelsea are going to score here, aren't they? I mean, the stats say we've been the better team, although we're at home. We've had 36% of possession, so maybe not. We've had more shots and more chances, and there's the goal. Never again will I describe a game as a run-of-the-mill Premier League game, and never again do I drop Vermonti for a big match. Ugh. Why? Why is the game listening to me? Why is Altrichter not as good as I thought he was? There's no such thing as a good goalkeeper in FM20. I'm angry. Very angry. Right, much change for the Inter game then. Fullbacks swapped over. Ronaldo and Roca come in for the two that were in there before, Kidd and Merba. Vermonti comes back in, obviously, and we're going with Marti and Ala in midfield. Cialini, or Cialini, I guess is it Cialini? What is he, Argentinian? So Spanish. Is that it's that noise I can't make because I'm English, isn't it? I'm going to say Let me know down in the comments how we say that man's name. He comes into the team as well. Perhaps I shouldn't play him until I can correctly say his name. Which one of us is doing the intensive language course quicker? Me or what's your first name? Well, that doesn't help at all. Nahuel. What's your first name? We need to give him an English name that I can say. Right. Really, I want to say to them, I just want to see how good you are. It's over to you. Yeah, there's no pressure to win. This game doesn't really matter. We've both already qualified. No one's going to be pushing it that hard. They're not playing Luca Ciao. He's not even in their team. So he's not even on their bench. I assume he's injured. So the two of the best strikers in the world who would both be in this game, neither of them available for it. And Cialoni feels right. He's injured. So we probably just take him off because it's not a particularly important game. We've got Paolo down there on the bench and Keith Crown. But Paolo's our top scorer this season. So he just, like I say, comes on in any of these attacking midfield 4 positions. I know we don't really use attacking midfielders very much, which is what his natural position is. But he certainly comes on either wing. He's played up front a few times, and he's pretty good at all of them. So he's a very useful utility player to have around. Ronaldo plays it into Sanchez. It falls to Marti, and that's his first goal of the season. He's kind of been one of the forgotten men here this season because we signed Ala and Baumgartner on deadline day and kind of changed our plans massively. Right up until that point, the plan for the midfield was Marti and Abitbol, and it kind of got thrown away when I brought in 2 of my own central midfielders, who obviously I'm going to play my own ones because I signed them. I need to prove they were good. But Marti was very much part of the plans up until that point, and he's a very good central midfielder. I think we've got 4 very good central midfielders, and Marti looks like he's taking the opportunity today to prove he's definitely one of the 4 and maybe deserves a little bit more game time. He's not been having much so far, and he's single-handedly disassembling Inter, who haven't even had a shot in this first half. Is this the same Inter Milan that we've been locking horns with for the last 5 seasons, or have they just fallen apart? Is Inter potentially going to be the next rebuild job on our journey? Because if they're going to start to slip, we need to see where they are in the league. We'll have a look to see how they're doing domestically in a second. But I'm already thinking this Inter team have been phenomenal. If they're starting to be less phenomenal, if we have a year or 2 here at United, maybe we go learn to speak Italian after this, and we can head over to Inter and restore them to greatness, and then maybe call it a day. I know I keep talking about Paris Saint-Germain, but it's a bit of a foregone conclusion going to France, isn't it? Whereas Italy would be another couple of seasons of challenge. I need to get into the mindset of future Kev, and at what point he'd decide to just retire and live out his days sitting around his house playing Football Manager, which is presumably how I'll retire in real life. I'll give up playing Football Manager professionally, and I'll just sit around my house playing it for fun. So at what point does future Kev just accept that as his life and give up on actual football management? We're getting there. We're probably 5 years away, maybe not even that, maybe a little bit more. Maybe I'll get the international management itch again. Who knows? We don't have a centre-back on the bench, which is just sloppy. Sweeney can come off for Crown, and we'll stick Crown on that right-hand side. Paolo can go back over there. We don't have a striker on the bench to take Sanchez off. We'll just take off Ala, go with Abitbol, swap those 2 over. And this was always going to be the central midfield up until deadline day when everything changed. That was the central midfield. And I think this might be the first time they've played together, because I like having my own. But plus, Baumgartner in particular has really arrived with a bang and is a real top quality player. So it would be very harsh to push him back down the pecking order just for the sake of playing someone who I might have treated unfairly. We're going to drop 10 minutes of praise, a little bit of praise that will hopefully cheer them up for 10 minutes to finish the game off. But this has been probably the most efficient game we've played against Inter, at least since when we were at Tottenham. I don't remember playing them when I was at Tottenham. I don't know if any of you lot remember those games particularly, but I obviously remember the clashes with Bayern and Barcelona. But the Tottenham one, I'm not sure. Right, how are Inter doing? They are still top of Serie A, so they're not falling apart. They're just not as good as we are, it seems. Serie A has moved above Bundesliga. After all the good work we did in Germany, Bayern won the Champions League 2 years in a row, and they're still considered the 4th best league. Weird. Right, we will be back tomorrow, somewhere in January probably. I mean, there's some big games in January. Man City, West Ham, if they're still top of the league, Arsenal, Tottenham. I could show you the whole of January and it would be a lovely time had by all. I'm not going to do that. That would be a very, very long video. We'll come back somewhere in there, though. And there might even be something going on transfer-wise, although really we need to move out some players before we can even think in terms of transfers. We're £500,000 a week over our wage budget and Noah Carroll's still here. So we need to bin him off. And that saves us 325 grand straight away. A tight calf out for one day. We substituted him for a tight calf. My word. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. and thank you very much for watching.